All right, you crazy kids, we're going to have a conversation about linear inequalities. But before we do that, there's some vocabulary that we need to get straight. First thing, this point in the coordinate plane where the y-axis and the x-axis meet, where the coordinates are 0 and 0, we need to make sure that we know that the name for that point is the origin. So when we say the origin, we're talking about the point 0, 0, where the x and y-axis meet. Second thing we need to talk about that. Yes, it's a line, but we need to be more specific. So we're going to have two names for this. Oftentimes we'll simply call it a solid line. Sometimes we'll be using that line as a boundary that will separate values that are solutions from non-solutions. When that happens, we simply call this a solid boundary. Not real complicated, right? Next we have this line here that looks like it's dashed, right? We've got a few names for this as well. Sometimes we'll just call it a dashed line. Well, that's not really a great name for it. We will often use the name dashed line or dashed boundary. The more mathematically appropriate name is actually an open line or an open boundary, just like we have an open bullet when we talk about graphs on the number line. All right. The last thing I want to talk about is what we mean when we say shading. See this region down here where we have a whole bunch of lines? We're going to refer to that as our shaded region of a graph. All right. And to be clear, it's not just this region that we see in the graph. It's all the way out here and out here and out here. Right. Then if we want to talk about this area down here where we don't see shading, we're going to call that our non-shaded region. Region is just another word for area. Right? Last few things that we need to make sure we understand before we start this new conversation. This is really, to me, the most important idea in the topic of algebra. What is a solution? And for that matter, then, what is a non-solution? Do me a favor, pause the video, write down what you think a solution and a non-solution is. After you've written down your words, come back and see if they match with what I would say for it. So go ahead and pause the video. All right, welcome back from your pause. If you didn't pause the video and write what you're supposed to write here. Here's what I would have expected to see. What you write should effectively say that a solution is a value that makes a statement true, and a non-solution is a value that makes a statement false. You may have even provided some examples. You may have said that, for example, the equation x is equal to 3, or x plus 3 is equal to 7, that the solution is 4 because when the value of x is 4, this equation becomes true. You may have said that a non-solution to this equation is, well, anything else. We'll say 5 because when the value of x is 5, this solution is false. Right? So our key vocabulary: origin, solid boundary, dashed or open boundary, shaded region, non-shaded region, and we need to make sure we know what solution and non-solution mean. All right?